hydraulic leak yesterday. I'll get this started up. Let's start warming up. It's about 35 degrees this morning. I'll walk you around and show you kind of what we have going on around here. First things first, we bought some farm ground about 2-3 years ago, and it's all been in hay for the last couple years. Last year we put our first beans out, and we only did it on maybe half of the property. Well, since it was just in hay, nobody ever had to get combines or tools or anything back to these other fields. Well, I got this mini out here, and we're going to start clearing some trees out and get some dead trees out of the way, and just to make our life a little easier, crossing ditches and stuff like that. But I'll kind of give you a little rundown of what we got going on out here, and been working at it a couple days now, so it's changed quite a bit, but I'll try to give you an idea of what it was before. Okay, I was standing down here in about the southernmost part of this property. This is about a 20-acre field. This is what we had in beans this last year. We got, looks like just a little bit of hay up that way. There's about 1.5 acres little spot there. And then most of the work that I'm doing is way down that way. It's got a couple 3-acre fields. There's a long 10-acre section, and it's basically just a pain to get to all of it from here. So that's what I've been working on, is kind of clearing all that area out, fixing a ditch up and putting a culvert in, stuff like that. Because once we get over there, I'll kind of show you the old way that everybody used to get back there. There's a little pathway through the timber, crosses a ditch. They had a substandard culvert in. They took gooseneck and stuff like that to get hay out across it, and that was just barely good enough. So I kind of opened up an area that's a little easier to access with trailers and bigger equipment. So this is that little section of hay up here. This will probably always leave in hay. I've always talked about planting pumpkins. I might do pumpkins here, I don't know. It seems like I never have time to do what I actually need to get done. There you can see some of the property markers. So this property line across this road next to this cornfield runs clear past where we're going to be working today. This is this longer 10-acre section I was saying. This isn't too bad. So kind of a little bit of the history on this ground. The guy that owned it before us was renting it to a farmer, and he was only cutting hay off of it. So there's that smaller piece there. So I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't take care of it or nothing. They did far more to it than the people that had it before them. But they weren't interested in row cropping it. Well, I don't know if I should be interested in it or not, but that's what we're gonna do. Along with some of this clearing that I'm doing, I want to reset a couple of these marker posts on the corners. On this far end, the neighbor, well, it's not the neighbor, the people that farm my neighbor's ground, knocked a couple over when they were combining, which they had corn in, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't see the markers. But a couple of them got knocked down. I'm gonna stand those back up just till everybody gets used to the lines again, because the people that owned my property before us, they weren't farmers, they weren't hunters, they weren't nothing. So they rarely came out here, so they didn't even know what they had really. But when all this got surveyed, from that post right there to where you can see where the edge of the field is now, they were farming clear past where those trees are in that ditch line. And so there was another 40-50 feet. Well, you can kind of see the where they were farming right here over. And this was like a little waterway type deal that they left. But we've kind of reestablished the property lines, and I'm not saying anybody was wrong, but just hadn't been surveyed in so long that, you know how it is, unless there's markers or something up. It's just the way it goes, everybody. Not like they're trying to take something, but you just work over one, you know, a few inches this year, a few inches next year, it ends up being feet. But we'll get all that established again. So this is, here, I'll even walk you down where we are eliminating. So all this timber ground right through here, along the edge of that field, down. Property line runs straight down through that timber. Well, the only way that we could get from this field right here to on the other, there's a deep ditch right through here, to the other side of that timber was through this area. We walked from past those trees right here, from up against that tree line back there. So this is our 10 acres here. And this is how you crossed to the other sections. It's not bad, it works, but the problem was every time that I would come out here, another tree or two laying across this path. Which again isn't a problem, because if you can tell, there's not really a lot of mature timber through here. A bunch of dead ash trees and basically just a mess. But so you can imagine trying to get any tool back here besides a baler and a rake and, you know, just little stuff. Here's that culvert ditch that I'm talking about. It doesn't look too bad. I'll show you where I did get the new culvert installed, but I digress. So this few acres here, as you can tell, I already ripped a bunch of trees out. There's a couple dead trees right here, a couple next to the truck, a few more down there next to that pile, and then there was a couple taller trees by the culvert. I'll show you that when we get around to it. But then once you get into this field, there's 3 acres of ours plus the neighbor. He doesn't farm, so we just been cutting hay off of his little 3-acre path right next to ours. So this is my neighbor's, and he doesn't have a problem. Obviously, we go through here. He uses that path that we just walked down to access his ground up here. So it's, I mean, it's not a big deal, but again, see, there's the corner post. This pathway is not bad if you can get to it through that trail. So here's his 3 acres. This corner post down to them trees. Over, you can just barely see it. A corner post. Here's a corner post here of ours. And then you can kind of see straight down that line. So there's 2 3-acre tracts right here, basically. 1 and then 2. makes kind of a odd cut down this field, goes over and then back again. And what I'm trying to create is, I'm gonna leave all these pine trees and evergreens and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with any of them, but all these saplings, all that crap through there, most of it's dead. So I've been slowly pecking away at knocking them down and dragging them out so that we can pass equipment from these fields here, whether it be haying equipment or row crop, whatever we're going to do, straight down to that last little field we walked through. But these are kind of where the corner posts got messed up. Not this one so much, but way down there on that end, they got kind of a bad deal with whoever laid these plots out, because they got maybe 8 rows of corn. So 8 rows of corn, and it goes about 50 feet in, and that goes around the back side of this field right here. So they got to farm down 40 feet over, and that's it. So it's kind of a mess for them. But anyway, so here's the property line over here. This was one of the corner posts that were knocked over. I stood it up whenever kids and I came out here the other day. You can see the marker. And then from there you can kind of see just past that tree, that's the edge of that field we walked up earlier. My plan is to clear a lot of that out, like the little saplings out of that, and the brush. Leave the pine trees that I can. But my goal is, which won't be in the near future, but in the future, would be to put a lean-to up, or a small, just glorified carport, basically just to get some equipment under shelter of some kind right along here, somewhere right in here, or even if I can clear enough in there, put it right up behind them. It kind of opens up in there along those pine trees. Now we're back down that lower field, so this is where I put a culvert in. So our property line runs right along this field, and then it stays in a perfectly straight line up along that field we just walked down. So put a culvert in across this ditch. So as we are doing whatever, haying or row cropping, whatever we're doing in that field, we can just cross right over, take care of this field, and then eventually all that'll be cleared off, hopefully in the next day or two, and we just cross right over into those other 3-acre fields there. This is an old lease road, a couple oil wells. So that just runs out to the county. It's not even a county road, just a back road back here. And what little we'll use it, nobody really cares. But that neighbor's pretty good. He's come down here, talked to me a few times in the couple days I've been here. Actually, to be completely honest, all my neighbors around here are pretty good. And I'll bush hog a lot of this and get it all cleaned up. Not that we're going to gain anything out of it, but definitely need to be good stewards of the land. If you're gonna own something, better take care of it. Okay, well, there it is. I'll set you guys up and watch me hammer out some more trees through there and stack them up. So that was another thing I didn't mention. Right next to this culvert, there were two huge trees. Huge, I mean, they're not huge, but for 306 mini they were. Right through here. There was two trees right in here. And in order to be able to come off of that road across that culvert, because you're not gonna be able to turn just straight and go, you know, straight that way. You got to come in at an angle, as you already tell. It's kind of wore in just in the few days I've had it there. Trees were right in the way, especially by the time you get tractors and tools and, you know, anything taller than 8 feet crossing through there. So those trees got deleted. One was completely dead. The other one was rough, to say the best. And that's where they ended up. So there was a couple dead trees standing there. And then right here behind my truck, there was a couple trees. And then if you remember, on the other side of my truck, there were a couple trees out there. So that'll at least be nice not having to mow around all them. But we'll get to work on clearing them out. And hopefully just that loose fitting was all I had. And well, I'm sure that's all it was leaking. I closed those valves last night before I left. Nothing bled off. So hopefully that's it. But as I come across stuff, I'll let you guys know. Hey everyone, let me apologize for the audio. I have a new mic now, so going forward audio will be better. Thanks for watching this far. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments any questions you might have or things you'd be interested in me covering. Most of this is new to me, so I'll be learning as we go. Again, thanks for watching and have a great day. Okay. Made quite the pile. That did all right. No more leaks. Everything's good on it. Let's see. I want to show you guys what's going on over here. Obviously, by the time lapse, you see I've been out here about 3 hours or so, 2.5, 3 hours. I gotta go pick the kids up, but I got a mess over here down on the ground, but I think I've cleared enough of the area out that it should be wide enough for what I'm wanting. Plenty of room to get tools and stuff through here now. Obviously, you gotta clean all the sticks and stuff up. I've been digging all the root balls out as I can and pulling the trees up. So hopefully there won't be too many major roots that we got to deal with in the future, but I think it's looking pretty good. My only thing I don't know what I need to do yet is I don't know if I'm going to take all those out, because kind of my plan was, see how this kind of opens up in here a little bit. I don't know if you can tell on camera or not, but we walk in here, there's kind of like an open spot in here, and then just on the other side of those it opens up again. So I mean, I'd like to leave all those pine trees in here and come through here, mow all this down, kind of clean it all up. It's that deer blind in here, because my neighbor on that side of those trees has a pond, and there's always deer tracks going through like this area and down there by that ditch. going over to his pond just on the other side of those trees right there. So, I don't know. I definitely want to leave this side about where it's at. I might, depending on if that tree dies, because there was a few trees I had to dig up around it. So I don't know if that pine tree will end up dying or not, but I'm gonna leave this alone for now. I might keep going into that, because there's a few dead trees along this little edge here, and again, I had to dig so much of these bigger trees out that I don't know if they'll all survive or what, but if I don't do anything else, it's perfectly fine. So that's as far as I've really need to go, I guess, is what I should say. I'll probably leave it at that then. Next thing's gonna be getting all of those onto that pile. Definitely don't want to burn those there. This pile over here is plenty far away from everything. I'm not worried about it. Oh, and that tree there has to come down yet. Other than that, that should be it for the trees. See, you can kind of tell how it opens up over there a little bit. So we were just walking in right over there. There's like a line of pine trees in there, and then right over there, it all kind of opens up. And back in there is where I'd like to put my lean-to, which I say lean-to, it's basically just going to be, I like to build it about 60 foot wide, 60 or 80 foot wide, and about 30 feet deep, so I can pull, you know, a tractor and an implement under cover. But other than that, everything else out here, man, this will be a lot nicer not having them trees out in the middle and being able to get in and out from over here. So I guess part of the reason I keep talking about putting that lean-to up over there is because I'd like to be able to come off of this lane road over this culvert and stay on that edge of the property up to where the lean-to would be at up in here. So we're not having to, you know, drive along this ditch, cross the field or whatever, and have a little road through a field. Just be on the edge of the property then. Because then after all that's established, then there's really no reason to even go over there. Then I can just, you know, mow what we need to on this side. That tree line there will separate that end of the fields and this middle field here. And remember, I have that 1 3-acre tract and then the neighbor's 3 acres right next to us that we cut right now. It's getting there. Lots of work, but that's part of it, I guess. Okay, well, I gotta go pick kids up and they want to shoot BB guns, so that's what we'll be doing out here this afternoon. This is my first video, so go easy on me. I'm gonna try and document, I guess, for lack of a better term, what we do out here, because I've never farmed before. My wife's family farms, like a hobby farm. I can't say that I grew up wanting to farm, but I have a couple old tractors and stuff, and my in-laws, they have tractors. My mom's side of my family, they farmed back years and years ago. I don't know, it just always intrigued me, so I'm gonna give it a shot. At least on this, I guess, total tillable out here, we would have just under 40 acres is what we have. The rest is timber, so it's like, I don't know, we got like 10 or 12 acres of timber, slowly becoming less. But I'm gonna try to document what it takes to start from basically an idea of wanting to do this. And there's some guys out there that have, cattle and do the beef farming and stuff like that, but I simply just don't have time for that. I travel a lot for work, and quite frankly, I need to do something out here during the winter when I'm off, and then basically just be able to put some crops in and take them back out, and that's about it. The general maintenance of just having property in general will keep my schedule pretty full as it is. So that's the plan, and I don't know, we'll see. Trying to build something for the kids someday. Hopefully they'll appreciate the hard work, and hopefully they'll learn a little bit too on the way. um, yeah, we'll see.